Detachment is a game changer. In this video, we're going to talk about why letting go, releasing importance, surrendering, detaching is actually one of the most important things that you have to master in your life if you really want to go in the flow of life and allow things to come and manifest in your life effortlessly. This is one of the biggest paradoxes to fully understand and truly master as well, because we struggle to understand why is it that if I care too much about something, I block it, I resist it, I prevent it from coming and materializing in my life. But what really happens is that the moment you put something, someone, a project, a goal, whatever it is, on a pedestal, meaning you assign too much importance, right? Too much obsession. You care about it. You start to obsess. You start to become needy. You start to become stressful. You start to become anxious. All of this creates resistance. You're no longer in a flow with life. You're finding the path of least resistance to get there, to get inspired, to have that idea, to have your energy working effortlessly toward creating and achieving that in your life, right? We all know when we're in that state where everything just flows and we act on those flows and those ideas and those synchronicity and just things seems to happen, right? But when you swim against the current, we know how hard it can be, how stressful it can be, how obsessive it can be, and how everything seems to be working against us. So either you still get there, but it was like a very difficult road, or the opposite is going to happen and you're going to perform poorly and it's going to ultimately lead you to missing out or creating the opposite thing that you actually wanted. So letting go, dropping that importance, putting things off the freaking pedestal is a game changer in so many ways, because it's a little bit like having that wooden plank on the floor, on the ground, right? It's a couple of meters long, but you know it's easy to just walk across that wooden plank. But the moment you put it couple of meters higher up or in between two roofs, all of a sudden the same easy task becomes nerve-wracking or almost impossible because of the amount of pressure you put on yourself, right? And the fear and all of that. And so when we put importance on things, it's a little bit like this, right? I remember in the past, a few years ago, when I was starting my business and I was just, starting off, when I was doing like phone calls, with my clients or my prospect back then, I was preparing hours before the meeting. I was so stressed, so nervous. I gave so much importance, like a, life or death situation. They have to sign up. I cannot afford to miss on this client type of mindset, right? And so because of that mindset, because of the importance that I put on that client signing up and becoming a client and so on, I was in that state of lack. I was in that state of neediness. And so how did I perform? Well, I wasn't explaining myself the best. I wasn't listening. My mind was not in the right place. My energy was completely off. And so what would happen is that most of the time I will miss out on a sale, which would just bring more pressure on the situation, on myself, and make everything down so much harder. So letting go is one of the most freeing things. And again, it's a paradox, because if I let go, I'm afraid, well, it's like I don't care, I'm not going to prepare, and if I don't prepare, what's going to happen, right? So we got to overcome the tendency and the resistance that the ego mind has on letting go, because the mind likes to control, likes to know what is going to happen and how it's going to happen and who's going to bring it and when and how. Yeah. So we got to first learn and practice getting off that freaking ego mind, to just back off a little, but to also overcome the idea that letting go doesn't mean giving up the goal or abandoning the goal or the desire. It's two very different things. You can detach and still want what you want, but it's simply about how you go about it that is changing, and your energy that changes dramatically when you detach. So the question is then, how can you detach? What is the process that you can use to start practicing this art of detachment, letting go, and dropping the importance or the seriousness with which you go about things? So the first question you have to answer for yourself is, where in my life am I giving too much importance? Meaning, where in my life am I putting people or things or situation or outcomes on a freaking pedestal? Because at least now you have the awareness to know that, okay, those things I really, really, really put too much importance there. And then notice, how do I feel about those things? How do I think about those things? How do I act about those things? How is my energy around those things and what I do and how I want them to be. Because now you know how it's affecting you and the resistance and how it's actually slowing down and preventing you from getting the things that you want. Second things you have to keep in mind is that this is a matter of practicing. This is a matter of really learning. If you're new into this whole letting go thing, you have to learn and you have to practice and you have to get your mind on board on this idea that the outcome that I want doesn't actually matter. And this again is super difficult because the moment you hear that, you can go in this defense mode. Yeah, what do you mean it doesn't matter? It matters a lot. I want that job, I want more money, I want that partner, I want that thing, right? So the mind can be very defensive, but hear me out. What you're gonna get doesn't matter. What you are really after is the feeling of how it's gonna make you feel the moment you get that thing. And here is the secret, right? When you can get your mind on board with the, well, if I get it, great. If I don't get it, it's okay as well. No matter what, I am gonna be okay. If you can capture the feeling of how you would feel if you already get the thing, nothing really matters too much. It's simply because you are lacking that feeling, you're lacking that quality, you are projecting that quality, that feeling onto the outcome, and then you obsess about the outcome and why it must happen, right? And then you have all these opposite emotions coming up and boiling up in you, which creates more wanting, more desiring, more obsessing, more importance. So when you understand that if I can get myself to a place of letting go of no matter what happens with the outcome, I know I want it and that's okay, but whether it happens or it doesn't, or it happens this way or that way, it's okay. Because I understand that what matters the most is the alignment, is the energy with what I go about it and what I really want out of that outcome, the person, the goal, the money, the interview, the job, whatever the outcome may be, is how it would make me feel the moment I get it. And so if I can practice being in that state now, I release the resistance, because when you have it, you don't chase it. Think about the things you have right now. You're not obsessed about getting more of them, right? Unless you really have that scarcity mindset of, I'm gonna run out of it, but that's a different story. And so letting go, detachment, is all about presence, right? It's being able to come to this present moment right now, becoming aware, okay, I'm putting too much importance there, I'm being obsessive, I'm being a control freak, I'm letting the outcome control me. And you can see this very often. You know, I talked about the prospect earlier, but how often people have a presentation to make, right? And they can't sleep over, or they're so nervous, they're neck breaking because of the presentation, because of how much importance they put there. And so because of that, it's affected their energy and their ability to express themselves in a way that they know they can. So letting go and detachment is again something that you have to practice, something that you have to embody, something that you have to really notice and train your mind to no longer be so dependent on the outcome. Is that when the outcome happens, that's the only way for me to be happy, that's the only way for me to be okay, that's the only way for me to feel worthy and good about myself. Because as long as you're in that mindset, you are going to be chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing. So you gotta notice, okay, how can I make myself feel in this present moment more relaxed, more content, and as if I already have what I want? How would I feel? What is the quality? What is the feeling that I would gain from achieving that outcome? Because if you can get into that energy, now you are flowing with life, and life will meet you halfway. And you will see that this is when you end up in a state of flow. This is when things manifest faster. This is when things happen, and not only that, but you can perform better and get things done so much more efficiently as well. So I hope this video makes sense, guys. Let me know if you have any question down in the comments. Practice letting go. Practice noticing where you give that importance. Calm yourself, ground yourself, be present. And then start accepting the idea that, you know what, whether that things happen or not, I'm gonna be okay. And if you can get to that state, you'll get that state of relief. And the moment there is relief, you know that you have dropped the resistance. So it's all an inner game of how you perceive yourself and how you perceive the thing that you desire. So let me know what you think down in the comment. As always, hit that subscribe button. I will see you next time. Be well.